I have a 7th generation Honda Civics DX 2005, and can't find any YouTube video information on changing out or cleaning the EGR, not the EGR valve, but the part of the EGR systems, the manifold. There's a plate way back here behind this intake, I guess container, if you want to call it. I don't know the mechanical term for it or automobile term for it, but there's a plate between the engine and this way down here. But anyway, I'm gonna disassemble this and clean out that plate. I keep getting the EGR reading. Now the EGR valve is right here, and I already replaced that and cleaned that area out, but this is a pretty tricky, or not to say tricky, it's just involved cleaning all this, getting to this plate that's way tucked down behind here. So I'll be doing a kind of step-by-step process to show you to get to that as best as I can. Now, I'm not a mechanic, and but I hope this is helpful to some of you Honda Civic owners out there, because again, I can't find any video that shows how to do this. I'm going to disconnect the battery, be positive and the negative, and I'm going to open the gas cap and release the pressure from there. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart this airflow, these kind of airflow components, just because it'll be easier to access this plate behind there. Okay, so there's a bolt here, and everything that you're using, let's say it's a 10 millimeter, but you'll see that there's a bolt here, a bolt there, a bolt down there, a bolt here, a bolt there to get that off, a bolt here to get that off, and I'll make sure to unplug all these plugs. Okay, so I've got the battery unhooked. I've taken out these screws, or excuse me, bolts, nuts, bolts. There's one way, it's really hard to see. It's way, let me back up. It's way down under there. There, and of course, as I said, I've got took this off, put this right here so I don't lose it. Now, the other thing I want to mention is, maybe time, if your air filter is in here, and if you haven't had it replaced, might be a good time to do it now while you're working on your car. Just go ahead and replace that. Alright. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take all these two components out from the car, but even for me to do that, there is a nut, a tightening nut that you need to access that's behind this, that holds this down, that's behind, it's right here, it's right by the throttle, but it holds, it's got this kind of tightening belt thing that holds this in place. So you need to kind of unscrew that, loosen it up, and you'll also need to take this hose, disconnect this hose from here, and it slides off. It takes some maneuvering, but make sure you get that off, and then you'll be able to pull this unit out. So I'm going to do that now. So here is that part. You'll need a Phillips head screwdriver to access that and loosen it up. And Now you'll see I've got these components out. I'll back up here so you can get a better view. Alright, what I'm going to do next is work on these hoses in the throttle area, and this is the tricky part, I guess. Well, I'm going to take the throttle off, and what I'll do is this wire, and I'll disconnect this wire. You kind of pull back like that, and this loops underneath. This is hard to do. I hold them. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That's off. And the tricky part is these hoses. I'm going to clamp these hoses down with some vice grips, and then take these clamps off so I can maneuver it off, because if you don't, what will happen is you'll have a bunch of coolant that will spray all over the place. So this is really important to take care of this, and also unplug everything. I'm going to end up again taking this throttle off. I'm going to take this bolt, this bolt, this bolt. It'll lift off, disconnect all these electro ports, and at the same time I'm going to be taking off, there's a bar, let me back up, there's a bar, support bar that holds so I don't know what this is called, but there's a support bar underneath here you've got to take off, and this here I'm going to end up disconnecting these from their ports. These are the sensors. Disconnect these sensors, and anyway, I'll get to that so you can see what it looks like afterwards. And because I'm trying to get to the fuel injector, so you have to kind of open up some space for you, because it's difficult to get to the bolts that are holding that plate down that you want to access. Alright, so I'm going to just put this camera down and do all that. So again, just a reminder, I'll be disconnecting these, taking these off, lifting these off, getting this out the way, taking this support bar underneath, getting that out the way, also disconnecting these other sensors, taking this throttle off. You're going to see these hoses clamped down, a must. You're going to have coolant spraying all over the place. In fact, what you may want to do too is, if you haven't changed your coolant, you can put your car on some jack stands and just drain your coolant and then refill it, and then that way yeah, that's just something to think about as well. Alright, disconnected, bolts off, that lifts off from there. This will be tucked underneath. You'll have to lift up on this and get this over and pull this out from over it. So I've got that, just so you can see, this is what is, this right here is what's connected to the fuel injectors, sensors to the fuel injectors. One, you'll see that there's 4, 2, 3, 4. I'll address that in a little bit, take it off, pull this up just a little bit, but before I do that, this is that bar you need to get to, so I need to take, there's 2 bolts, there's one here and there's one there. I'll have to take those off to get that support bar off. Okay, I've got that support bar off. Back up. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this throttle. Mentioned before I need to take off these sensors, so I'm going to do that. And I mentioned before I'm going to clamp these down. Just you got to have those clamped down. All right. And then from there, once you take that plate off, let me go back. Let's take that plate off. You can see there's another plate right here that you'll have to take off. And once you take that off, you'll begin to see at least one bolt that holds that intake manifold in. All right. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to work on this throttle area. All right. And again, I'm using a needle nose vice grip, so got that off, and I'll clamp it down here, and then I'll use my other pair of needle nose to take that off and clamp down the hose so it doesn't spray all over the place. This is so important. Alright, so I got these two clamps off, and a little bit of coolant came out from this bottom one right there. I'm going to wipe it up. You can see a puddle of it right down there. I've gotten this loosened up. I'll pull this off and go from there. Show you what's next. Okay, I've got the throttle off, and you'll see that it's kind of dirty, so I'll clean that out with some brake cleaner or some carburetor cleaner. Just spray that out and clean it. But I got that out, and they suggest you switch out this gasket, and I can't tell you what to do. I'm not going to switch mine out, so maybe shouldn't do that, but either way, I think my gasket's fine. Alright, I mean, I just replaced it recently, that's why I'm not, sorry I got the shaky hands. I just replaced it recently, so I'm not going to change it out. Alright. Big difference now. Got it all cleaned up. Alright. Got it cleaned up. So now I'll start addressing getting this out right here. Okay, the injectors. Getting the ejectors out, and I'll have a bungee cord with me prepared, and I'll show you what the bungee cord is used for. But to get to these fuel injectors again, damn spider, is I'm going to take this plate off right there, and then I'll take these sensors off, the 1, 2, 3, 4, if that's appropriate language for those, and then I'll maneuver the fuel injector bar out, and then I'll hang it. And now we're getting to where we need to been trying to get to all along. Forgot to mention that these two bolts right here are going to take a 12 milliliter socket, not a 10. Here's that little plate right here, and the two bolts that come out, that right underneath that bar right there. Alright. Okay, I've got these sensors disconnected. Each one of these 4 sensors. 1, 2, 3, 4. And to disconnect it, in case you're concerned, there's these tabs on either side, like this, right there, and you pinch it in and pull it out. It may take some maneuvering. Don't maneuver too much. Just make sure you get a good pinch and you pull out. Now the fuel injector rod, whatever, isn't going to come out yet because it's bolted in. So you're going to see there's a bolt here on the right hand side. Let me back up. A bolt here on the right hand side, and another bolt nut on right there. So there. There and there. Okay. Yeah, get those loosened up, and then I'll have the bungee cord ready as I maneuver it out. Alright. You'll see why the bungee cord is needed. It's a little trick I do. I've got this on here like this. On here like this, and I'm unscrewing it. Right? I do this thing so it doesn't come off and fall down underneath the car. Once it gets to the loose point, I got my finger right here. Wait a minute. It's almost there. There it goes. Got my finger there, and I just pull up to make sure it's still capped in there. So, just my own little trick. I did that for the other side as well. Right there. Okay. Maybe you got another trick. That's my trick. So again, I've got both those off. Now here's the important thing. Because those are fuel injectors, as I pull those out, you got to make sure this is the fuel line coming in right here. Fuel line coming in. Or is it? Well, these are the fuel lines coming in. You don't want to have those disconnect because you'll get fuel all over the place. Also, just make sure the fuel injectors stay on. Just there's the four of them. You'll make sense when I pull it out. You want to make sure that they're still on, otherwise you can get fuel all over the place, and the fuel can get on your engine, and then you got a fire if it's engine's hot or whatever. All right. Let me just say, these are not easy to get out. You just kind of have to maneuver around, maybe use a flathead screwdriver to somewhat maneuver in between the spacing. When you work on it yourself, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about in order to kind of just slightly maneuver it out. What I did is I took a flathead screwdriver, and in this bolt area right here, I kind of did some maneuvering, just turning it, and I did the same thing on this side. God damn it. Same thing on this side. Just turning it, prying it, and I kind of went under here, pried it a little bit. But I took I didn't force it. I just was patient and got it up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up hanging. Really shouldn't have it down there like that, but I'm going to end up hanging. Some people are probably chewing me out right now. Hanging these fuel injectors. While you're here, while you're at it, you'll see that these fuel injectors have little O-rings on them. And it's recommended that you also change those out. This little O-ring right here that I'm spinning. Spinning, baby, spinning. So I'm going to hang this up. Just get it out the way. Alright. Alright, there it is. Got it hanging out the way. Now we can start seeing some stuff. Wow, look at them bolts. There are the bolts. Finally. All that to get to bolts right there. There's one. Boom. So 1, 2, 3. 4. Right there. 4. Another one right there, a little sparkling one. 5. And then there's 4 more underneath, or 3 more underneath there. And those are the tricky ones. Those are the tricky ones that we're going to have to get to. As soon as I get these 4 top ones off, I'll talk about those ones below. Forgot to mention that these underneath take 12 milliliter, not 10. Boo. Okay, here are the top 5. I think I was saying 4, but it's really 5 bolts that you need to get out. The smallest one is in the middle. These 2 are parallel to the middle one, and these 2 longer ones are the furthest two outside, and I've got I want to say 3 more underneath the plate that I need to get. And you'll see that Honda has put these, let me get my light. You'll see that Honda has put these little access holes for you to, hopefully I can get in there. If not, I'm gonna have to take different measures. There's one, let me back up. Sorry. There's 1, 2, 3. And this manifold has, this compartment has, looks like 3 access holes that you can get to. If I can't get to that, I have to go underneath the car, jack it up, put it on some jack stands, and then drain the oil and take that oil filter off. It's right beneath this middle one, because you can't really access. It's hard to access these 3 bolts. It's hard to explain, but you'll understand it when you get this far. I'm really hoping that these 3 entry points are a way for me to be able to get in there. You can't use a socket wrench because there's too much depth, and you'll understand what I mean. There's too much, or there's not enough depth between the engine and this piece right there. There's just not enough room to fit a socket wrench in there to loosen those up. Alright, so I'm going to try that and let you know how it goes. Yep. I had to jack the car up, and I'm sorry about this, so you can see this is really difficult to see. And I've got this light here. There is for this manifold, and there's a mounting bracket on your right hand side, and I'm going to end up, and here's that oil filter. I'm going to end up taking these, at least the mounting brackets off, so I can access the 3 bolts that are underneath. I was able to get to the middle one, but there's one on the left hand side. See where that gap is at? Right in the middle here. That's where that one on the left hand side, I've gotten it loose, but it's still difficult to get to. But the one on the right hand side is going to be a beast. But I think it'll be easier to access if I get these mounting brackets off, and then I'll go from there. So yeah, you will end up having to jack your car up, and again use jack stands just to be safe. And let's go. Let's do this. Let's knock it out. Yeah, that. Yeah. Now I can access. See, now I can access that nut. All right, now it's loose. Let's do it. I mean, man, woo. All right. Those clamps are off. The mounting brackets. Got 2. I've got the far left nut off. I've got the far left nut off. I know you can't see it. And then I've got the middle nut off, and I got to get to that right one. All right, let's do it. Now, I did get the mounting brackets off, but so I'm going to be maneuvering this out the way. But the thing is, it won't go far enough because there is this other mounting bracket right here that's restricting my movement to pull it back. I think that's what I'm going to check that out to see if that's it. And but I'm really seeing how caked up it is in there. It's really bad, the all the soot and stuff like that. All right, let's do it. All right, this is going to be kind of hard to explain, but try to explain it the best I can. I didn't need to take all of those screws off, but to be able to get this off, there's like 3 bolts. I'm gonna back up, but it's one here, one here, one here, and it was the bottom middle bolt and the 2 top long extending bolts. The 2 top extending long bolts, which were, let me find them. Where'd I put them? Oh, here we go. Which were these 2 on the top that now allow me to pull this back. Wow, look at that. Yeah, that is nasty, dog. Nasty time. That's gonna take some cleaning. But now now that I was able to kind of remove it, pull it back, now I'll be able to get to those other, at least that last nut better. But I mean, man, that is so, woo, that's so bad. Wow, wow, wow. All right, time for some cleaning. Let's do it. I mean, man, look down there. It's Jesus. Just so you can see at least how bad this plate is. Wow, look at that, man. Whoa. Whoa. Man, serious cleaning. Alright, let's do it. Wow. Alright, again, let's just look at this. I mean, this is, wow. I mean, this is so nasty. I've already scraped out some of that with a screwdriver. I mean, that's, woo! Come on, dog. That's nasty time. A lot of scraping, a lot of scraping, a lot of cleaning, carb cleaner, all that stuff. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Oh, to get this up, there's that PCV valve that's down there. What I did is a hose that connects with the PC valve to the manifold. And so what I've done is just disconnected that tube. It's right here. Just took it off so I can get it up this high. All right, let's do it. Much better situation now. Wow. All right. I mean, it was so bad. Okay, so now I'm gonna put everything back together and just put everything back together. Okay, and you kind of just do everything, the series of steps in reverse. Okay, make sure you got all your plugs back in. Make sure you got the hoses all placed up. Yeah, I'll give one final shot with everything put back together. All right. Okay, I'm putting the mounting brackets on first. There's one to the left, one to the right. I'm just getting it set up. It's kind of loose, and then I'll put that PCV valve. I'll attach the hose back on there. Again, working everything back in reverse. Once you get this, you're fine. I know I said earlier, just do everything in reverse, but I just thought about this. Just make sure you know, you get the brackets. I'd say put the brackets on first, and then work backward from there. All right, but you don't have to have them solid on there, just kind of loose, and then go back and tighten everything up once you get the manifold back on as well. All right. Hey, got everything back in, and it's good to go. All the hoses and bolts and plugs and all that stuff. I hope this was helpful, and just to let you know, I did take it out for a ride. My check engine light didn't come back on. Probably rode the car for about a half hour, took it out on the highway. Everything's all good now. Hey, good luck. Hope this was helpful. Take care.